What's up, Wolfpack? This is Michael, aka Wolf Mantula, and welcome back to the Never Ending Voice podcast. So, I'm hoping that this microphone is going to not be as loud as the last video. I'm trying to talk a little bit lower, just so because last time I talked my normal voice and it kind of was a little loud. So there were a couple things that I want to do today, and the first thing I want to do is, if you see in front of me, I got some book mail from Joshua Scott Edwards. And what I want to say first is that if you want to get these, it is the same price on his website, but you can get them signed that you would pay on Amazon. So why not go to the author site, give him all the money, and also get a signed book for the same exact price? So anyways, that's what these are. And we'll start it off with this beautiful cover right here. I mean, is that not one of the most amazing things? Like, it's such a beautiful cover. And like, The Dance with His Sibling Sons it's I haven't read it yet, but it's something that I very, very much want to. So I plan on reading this very soon. It is also signed, and then the bookmark here, and dedicated to me. So I do appreciate that very much. And of course, let's see that right there. It's just such a good looking book. And then book 2 here. Boom! Look at that. I mean, these are amazing covers. And then just so like you can see that also signed and dedicated to me. So again, Josh, I appreciate that book mail very much. It's very pretty. And I do plan on getting to these very soon, especially since there is audio to it. So with there being narration, that makes it even more likely for me to read it, just because I like to do Kindle Whisper Sync. So that just makes anything with audio jump up even further in my book. But speaking of that, I do want to talk a little bit about what I read in September, and that is basically, I finished the Echo Saga by Philip Quantrill, and let me see, I ended up reading book 7 through 9, and I also read his newest novella, Leviathan. If you haven't read that series, the 9-book series plus the novella, man, I'm telling you right now, you have to. If you like Ryan Cahill, you would absolutely love this series. Like, it's bonkers. And then to finish up in September, I had a book that I ended up DNFing, and it's never, like, I'm never proud to DNF something, but I'm proud of myself for moving on from something that I wasn't enjoying. So that's something that I definitely want to bring up, is to say that if you are reading something and you realize that you're not enjoying it at all, like, move on from it. Just it's time to move. You don't need to read something that you're not happy with just because of FOMO, fear of missing out. Just DNF it. Did not finish. For those that don't know the acronym, and you'll have a better experience, because you're not forcing something that you don't care about. And this particular book, the cover really spoke to me. It was very cool. It had a whole Brandon Sanderson inspired him, and then he also used some ancient Aztec inspiration for the novel. And so I was very interested in what it had. But 20% in, I realized that I wasn't interested in anything that was happening. And 20% in is 100 pages out of like 450. So like, I didn't know enough about the plot. All I knew was they were in a war, and then I didn't like the characters. Like, I don't think it was like, I don't want to say it wasn't written well, but I mean, it just wasn't for me. It might be for someone else, but it just wasn't for me. And finally, after 20%, I realized that I needed to move on, and that's exactly what I did. It was tough to do, but I knew that I wasn't going to just sit there and do another 80% and just listen or read to this book that I just wasn't enjoying at all. I guess I can talk about the read that I'm doing now, which is The Winter King by Bernard Cornwell. And um, man, talk about going from something that I just wasn't enjoying to something that is absolutely just blowing my mind the whole time. I mean, so it's it's the story of King Arthur, like the mythological stories of King Arthur, but instead of being actually King Arthur, you're you're not really getting that type of story. It's Arthur, but it's not King Arthur. Like, people are completely different than everything that we've read on them throughout our entire life. And I think it's exceptional. And then the fact that Jonathan Keeble, the narrator, like, it's my favorite. I know there are some fantastic narrators out there, but man, I gotta say, like, his narration is it's one of the, and it kind of sounds like um Matt Berry. Uh, for those that don't know who he is, he's from What We Do in the Shadows. So that Matt Berry is in that, and that's what the narrator kind of reminds me of. And it's the way that the story is done is through a character named Durfell, and he's telling the story through his eyes of what he witnessed of of Arthur and Lancelot and Sir Galahad and Guinevere, and all these other people. So it's a very interesting and different story. And I know it's not fantasy; it's technically just historical fiction, um, but technically also fantasy because King Arthur is technically a fantastical character. He's not real; it's mythology. So in a way, it's still fantasy, but it's very just unique. I love the way that they tell the story, and it makes you just want to dive in just even more. So, like, I plan on doing the trilogy. I believe it's a trilogy. Just back to back to back. Like, I want to read this constantly. I just want to hit nothing but that. But I do have a couple arcs coming up, and so I may have to actually split this up in between the arcs. But I'm really enjoying this, and it's going to be a really cool October wrap up when I talk about this series. So another thing that I wanted to talk about is the Unavowed anthology by Sean Speakman on Kickstarter. So if you haven't backed that yet, I would suggest going ahead and doing that. I don't know if the signed and numbered edition is still available. I know it was going to be limited, but you have J.A. Andrews, Zach Argyle, Dirk Ashton, Ryan Cahill, Sarah Chorn, A.C. Cobble, Michael R. Fletcher, Rob J. Hayes, Kevin Hearn, Ben Galley, Michael R. Miller, Andy Pelican, Zachary Pike, J.D.L. Roselle, Sean Speakman, M.L. Spencer, Patrick Swinson, Michael J. Sullivan, Ramon Terrell, R.R. Verdi, M.L. Wong, and Jeff Wheeler. Now, that is a spectacular cast, and it is already up to 89,000 out of 50,000, so it is completely funded. Now it's all about the stretch goals. So you get the Smith. Right now, we've already passed the first one, so you get the Smith Zone edition on that ribbed backside. The second one was the writers and the artists got paid more, and then we just passed where Sean Speakman signs the trade hardbacks. So we are pushing, and you get something for us, and then the next one is for the authors and the artists getting paid a little bit more, and then the next one is for us, and then for them, us and them, and so on and so forth, all the way up to 187, up to 200,000, which is full color tip added on the signed and numbered rare um, copy. So I would highly suggest backing that. It is a beautiful edition, and like I said, it's got a ton of great authors that are already there. And I believe it was $50 for the trade uh, hardback, and then it was a lot for the signed and numbered one. So uh, I don't know if you want to get that one or if you want to get a paperback. I think there's paperback. You got the rare signed and number, the rare hardcover, and then the trade hardcover. So you are getting a lot for, an incredible copy of this book. So I would highly suggest trying to maybe getting something in that if you're into any of those. The last thing that I want to talk about is that I may be doing a author interview pretty soon, and that author has a book / series coming out in October. So if hopefully we're going to be able to work this out where I can get him on before the series comes out, and that'll be a very fun thing to do because it is a great, or at least book one so far that I've read, is fantastic. So I arc read for it not too long ago, and I'll leave it on there, or I guess I won't leave it on there. So drop some hints. All I'm saying, but I am excited for that. It's likely going to be coming up very soon, so keep your eyes and ears peeled for that.